Welcome to NFL Road, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob, and this is a special edition because we're doing this on Thursday. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday weekend with Christmas and then also with New Year's. But we get into Week 18 of the NFL season, and you start asking, okay, when do you rest guys? Is there a record that could be broken? Should we play them? Should we not? And the Philadelphia Eagles came out and said, no, we're benching all of our starters. We're resting them. They're not playing, which obviously means Saquon Barkley is not playing. He won't play, meaning he won't break Eric Dickerson's record, be 101 yards short of such. And I was surprised, to be honest with you. It was actually a good thing that I didn't record on Wednesday, because we wouldn't have gotten this news. But Saquon being out is devastating. The things he can do, now it's going to be the other backups. And I get it. You don't need to play for anything this week. You beat Dallas. You won the division. Like, that's a big deal. I get that. But this record doesn't just mean a lot to Saquon. It means a lot to the offensive line. The guys who block for him and say, hey, he can beat Eric Dickerson's record. Why not? Let's go. We don't have to play him the whole game, just like the first half. We'll get it in the first half and he's done. I mean, it's also against the Giants, who haven't been that great. So that was what was expected to happen. It didn't happen, which is frustrating. I can see Saquon's frustration because a record that hasn't been touched in 40 years, and you're this close to breaking it. You're right there. I understand not to get him hurt, but at the same time, you want to break the record. It also means Jalen Hurts is not going to play, and Kenny Pickett gets the start. Kenny Pickett, who he also is injured. He has broken ribs. He actually had to get a few shots during the game, one before the game and one at halftime, to just deal with the pain, and then he still had to be taken out because of the injury. And so there was definite issues, definite discomfort. So if it's not Kenny Pickett, it's Tanner McKee who gets to start against the New York Giants. In a game that also, we will talk about a little bit later, could be for Brian Daboll's job. More on that in a little bit. Moving on to another team in that division is the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys released Ezekiel Elliott per his request. Zeke requested, look, I want to go somewhere where I can get the ball. And that wasn't going to happen in Dallas. Not because Dallas didn't want him. It was because he wasn't good enough. Let me get the numbers right off the top of my head here. Off my phone, but I think it was 74 carries for Zeke. A total of 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. But I think, let me get Zeke. Yeah. So this was Ezekiel Elliott's. Here it is. 74 carries, 226 yards, 3.1 a carry, 3 touchdowns. His longest reception, was 12 yards. His had 12 receptions for. It won't say. To put that in perspective, that is the lowest Zeke has ever averaged. He averaged 5.1 when he was a rookie, 4.1 in 2017, 4.7 in 2018, 4.5 in 2019, 4.0 in 2020, went up to 4.2 in 2021, 3.8 in 2022, 3.5 in 2023 when he was with the Patriots, and then 3.1. That's also his lowest touchdown in a season, tying him with last year with 3. Let's see. We got it right here. Okay. Per ESPN, the 74 carries tied Zeke with 60th with running backs. With 226 yards, he was 80th. The 3 touchdowns, he was tied for 50th. So meaning, Zeke was not a good second back. To put that in perspective. His carries were good. He was tied for 60th. So he's okay in the market of, okay, good running back, not a starter, but a backup. I understand. And then the yards, the touchdowns. It's not good. It's not good. A guy in Zeke's position doesn't go and have 3 touchdowns. Doesn't have 226 yards. There was a lot of things that Zeke was, but he doesn't do that. That was bad. That was really bad. And you could tell. Now, a question that had been risen, I guess, rose, whatever, was why do it now? Why not before the season really got going? Why now? And I think the reason was the Cowboys were still in it, technically. They had won a couple games, and they were still in it. Now they're completely out. There's no chance they get it. So if they would have lost earlier and lost some of the games they weren't supposed to win, Philadelphia, they ended up losing to. If they would have lost to Tampa, they would have lost to some of these other teams, Zeke probably been cut weeks ago. Not just now, but weeks ago. So it's frustrating. I mean, it was great memories, it was, but it just didn't work. It obviously didn't work. He didn't like the fact he wasn't really getting the ball, to the point he was frustrated, to the point they had to suspend him a game. He was falling asleep in meetings. Like, these are things that you can't do. And especially you're a veteran. It's not fair, I understand that, but it is the way it goes. Ezekiel Elliott will end his career, at least in Dallas, 74 touchdowns in his career. So that puts him one behind Tony Dorsett. But I guess what I feel is just disappointment. I want Zeke to do better than that. And it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Too many things didn't go right. Where he was bad in the 1 yard rushes, he was bad in the receptions. He wasn't even that great in pass blocking. To the point that he would get 3 carries a game. 3 attempts a game, that's what he got. That doesn't ever happen. Even for a backup running back, that never happens. He's getting 3 carries a game. That's how unproductive he was. Or not productive, I should say. So, now, we have to talk about, as this is a shorter show than we normally would do, we're going to do the coaches that we think could get fired on Black Monday. For people who are not aware, Black Monday is the day where at the end of the year, coaches get fired. So we're going to go through a list, AFC North, then we'll go AFC South, AFC East, AFC West, of which coaches could be fired, which coaches will stay, and also the teams that have already fired their coaches. We all have to say as well. And then we'll do the NFC. And I think what you will come, or what you'll get the result, I should say, is possibly more, like 6 more could be fired or let go, walked, whatever, in the next 72 to 96 hours. So let's begin with the AFC North. I think Kevin Stefanski's out. I think he's done. They haven't fully said that, but they said Deshaun Watson's back. I don't think Kevin Stefanski's done a good enough job with this team. I don't think this team is very good. I think he's out. So that's one. The second one is Doug Peterson in the AFC South. He's not been good. He's being let go probably as soon as the game is over because he's been so horrendous. It's awful. It's really bad. Like, I understand Trevor Lawrence got hurt. I get it. But you can't. If there's a guy wide open and Trevor's not finding it, yeah, sure, that's the quarterback. But if there's a guy, no one's open and there's 3 guys in the same spot, that's a scheming issue. And Doug Peterson should have been fired after the London game. He didn't. He wasn't. They ended up beating New England the next week in London, and he got steamrolled as soon as he got back. He should have been fired like 3 or 4 different times, and he wasn't. So that's an issue. So he's the second guy. We obviously have to talk about Robert Saleh was fired. So no one else is getting fired in the AFC East because I don't think Mayo is getting fired this year. They're going to give him some time. No one. Well, I shouldn't say that. Antonio Pierce could be fired, and I'll say he is. So that's 4, but 3 on Black Monday because I just don't think he's done a good job. Clock management, which a lot of coaches have an issue with, not very good. The team isn't very good. They didn't figure out this quarterback situation. Their offense is awful. It's gotten better when you brought in Norv Turner's son to be the coordinator. It's been good, but it's not where you need it to be. Now moving on to the NFC, which there's a little more to this. In the North, besides Eberflus, no one else is getting fired. Eberflus was already fired, so nothing's going to happen. South, Dennis Allen was already fired. No one else is getting fired. In the East, I'm going to say Dable's out. Because I don't think the Giants want to do what the Bears have done for the last few times, which is the Bears will draft a quarterback, but they'll have a head coach. And the head coach has been there for a few years, 3 or 4 years. And then at the end of his rookie quarterback season, the head coach is fired. They're not going to do that again. I don't think. If they do, it would just be a ridiculous thing for the Giants to do. Really would. I'm going to put Mike McCarthy on here, not because he's going to get fired, because it's not the same situation. McCarthy and all the coaches in Dallas, actually, are all free agents after this game. Jerry Jones has said that there is no real specific timeline for whoever is coaching this team because it's unprecedented, which it's not. It's not. The last head coach you had was at the end of his contract. And then you still talked to him, but you interviewed guys while he was still in the building. So this is a similar situation. I don't think McCarthy's being brought back. I think there's too many games when you say, okay, this was a good team. And you guys didn't look ready. You guys didn't play well. You got outgunned at times. You were not good enough. It was frustrating. I thought at spots the defense has played really well. They're just really banged up, and I wish Zimmer was given another chance, another opportunity to run the defense. I think that would, if they're healthy, it looks scary and vaunted. But I think this team is not good enough with. I got something there. This team is not good enough with Mike McCarthy being the head coach, and part of that's on the ownership. That's the situation you're in. Now, the reason why Mike McCarthy is not unprecedented, but doesn't happen very often is he's a free agent. He does not have to come back if he doesn't want. If I'm Dallas and you are letting him walk, you should at least think about what the next head coach should be. What he is and a lot of these teams should as well. Bears, Jets, you gotta bring someone in who knows the team, who knows that if they bring in an offensive guy, you bring in a great defensive guy. You have a defensive head coach, you bring in a great offensive guy. It's not easy to say, but it does need to happen. Moving on to the NFC West, I don't see anyone getting fired. Jed York, who's the owner of the San Francisco 49ers, said that Lynch and Shanahan would be brought back, which is the right call, by the way. It's a bad team. If Christian McCaffrey, Dre Greenlaw, Javon Hargrave don't play, it's a bad team. If they do play, it's a really good team. The problem is, you had Dre Greenlaw for a game. You had Christian McCaffrey for 4 games. Javon Hargrave was out the whole year. You can't do that. And you had numerous other players who were out for extended periods of time. It's hard to evaluate a coach. The same thing goes for the Cowboys. Same thing goes for the Jets. It's all connected. It's just how do you evaluate your coach? And do you use injuries as an evaluation? Or do you try to keep that out? You don't know. Now, getting into our predictions and previewing week 18. Let me see if I can get this. Here we go. Let's start with Saturday. Cleveland at Baltimore. Ravens favored by 19. They're going to play their starters. And the reason is they have not locked up their division yet. The Steelers still have a chance. The last time these two teams played, Cleveland beat them in Cleveland. That was, I believe, in early October. So this means something to Baltimore. Cleveland's going nowhere. I think they want to finish with more than 3 wins. So with how high it is, give me the Browns. I think they find a way. And it really makes it interesting for later on that night. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh, plus 1.5 for Pittsburgh. Cincinnati's played really well the last month. Cincinnati's also trying to get in to the playoffs. Pittsburgh already in, still trying to lock up their division too. They need a Baltimore loss and a win. And that might not even be enough. They definitely need some help. So, for sure. So, Pittsburgh, I think Baltimore actually locks up the division. Cincinnati finds a way to slide into the playoffs. Give me Cincinnati in a weird game, 28-21. Next up, Buffalo at New England. New England plus 2. Drake May is expected to start. Buffalo is playing for nothing. The over-under is 38. Sean McDermott said that the quarterbacks are going to, the offense of starters is going to play a little bit. How much is a little bit? Quarter, 2 drives. Mitch Trubisky's the backup. Give me Buffalo to win. They don't have to play for anything. They beat New England because New England is just not good enough. Buffalo wins 24-21. Next up, we got New Orleans at Tampa. First of all, I want to extend my deepest sympathies and thoughts and prayers to the city of New Orleans. Massive tragedy yesterday. If you do want to know more about it, go look at pretty much any network, any news network to find more about that. They're in Tampa against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 13.5-point favorites. The Bucs are trying to win their division for the 4th straight year. Atlanta lost last week, so Tampa has control of their destiny if they just win this game against New Orleans. The last time these two teams played, 50 points were scored by Tampa. They scored 50. Atlanta needs to find a way to beat Carolina. Give me Tampa. I don't think Spencer Rattler's good enough right now. Give me Tampa. They lock up their division. Atlanta's out. Tampa wins 28-14. Next game was Giants at Eagles. We already said the starters are out for the Eagles. It's going to be Kenny Pickett or Tanner McKee and Kenneth Gainwell on the back. It's going to be interesting. This might be the only game the Giants can, in fact, win. The Giants have lost their number 1 spot in the draft because of winning last week. I'm assuming Drew Lock gets the start. Give me the Giants. They win this game, they win 4 games on the year. Giants win. Strange game, 28-21. Next up, Washington at Cowboys, plus 6.5 for the Cowboys. The Commanders have nothing to play for. They're in. It don't matter. Dallas has nothing to play for. I would not be shocked if both teams say, let's play our backups. I wouldn't be shocked if Dallas goes and says, okay, let's play our 3rd tight end, who is an undrafted guy. Let's go play our 2nd running back now, who is a 6th-round pick of a few years ago. Let's go use our rookies, see what they got. Wouldn't be shocked by that. But I think this means something to Dan Quinn. They lost the last time these two teams met in ridiculous fashion. Give me the Commanders. They win this, and Dallas ends up falling to 7-8. And I think that's the nail in the coffin for Mike McCarthy, by the way. Washington wins 31-14. Next up, Kansas City at Denver. 10.5-point favorites. Denver trying to sneak into the playoffs. If Cincinnati loses, Denver has a chance to get in. Denver is holding on for dear life. They're 9-7. The over-under is 40. We don't exactly know what's going to happen with if Mahomes is playing or not and how much he does play. The last time these two teams played, it was a 17-16 game. Give me Denver. They win this game. They hold it barely, and they give the Chiefs their second loss. Denver wins 20-17. Next up, Dolphins at Jets. +1 for the Jets. The over-under is 39. Cold weather game. The Dolphins need this to make the playoffs. If I remember correctly, the team they would face would be Baltimore if they win. I think Cincinnati and Denver have a better chance, but I'm going to make this a little fun for me. The Dolphins win. They become 9-8 in a very strange game. Give me the Dolphins. 21-7. Next game, Seattle at Rams. Rams got nothing to play for. Seattle's got nothing to play for. Backups are going to be playing in bunches. This is going to be the game of Sam Howell, and let's see what he got, kind of thing. That's what it's going to be. I'm taking the Seahawks to win. They'll get to 10 games, and that will be Seattle's winning of 28-21. Next up, San Francisco at Arizona. 42.5 point is the over-under. 4.5 point favorites are the Cardinals. The Niners win this game. They're winning this for Kyle Shanahan. Last time these two played, it was a hilarious fashion game. Arizona and San Francisco will both have 7-10 records. That's what it's going to be. And really, if you're a team like that is a little behind Arizona in the draft order or a little ahead of San Francisco in the draft order, you want to make that as big of a chasm between those two teams as much as possible. San Francisco wins, they're 7-10. So give me San Francisco to win this game. Last game, game 272. Minnesota Vikings at Detroit. Detroit favored by 3. The over-under is 56.5. The last time these two teams played, I think they scored 60. So I'm going to bet the over on that one for sure. Lions are more beat up than they were the last time these two teams played. But the Lions desperately need the number 1 seed. They're so banged up, it makes no sense. Give me the Lions. They win this game at home in Detroit. They get the number 1 seed. And it's going to be all window dressing in this game. Lions win in a shootout, though. 45-38. And that is it. Final forward, let me know in the comments who you have winning this week. Also, what was your prediction record for the entire year? Let me know in the comment section below. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hubert.